Oh, hello there. My name is Castor, and this is where my coven meets at night. We practice our spells, brew potions, and study tomes like the one before me. So many stories fill its pages, new ones appearing out of thin air when I'm not looking. I can read you one if you'd like. Here's one of my favorites. It's called How to Rehabilitate a Werewolf, written by Liam and Ritzy. In this chapter, our protagonist begins her dream of healing animals, but her first call gets her into some supernatural trouble. If you like this story and want to hear more, you can support our coven on Patreon and hear new stories early, as well as bonus stories only seen there. Now, get comfortable and let's begin. Wolves had been on the prowl, especially under the waxing moon. Magnus Valley was no stranger to the creatures, but they had never been this wild. One beast was different from the others, its coat shining white. He must have gotten lost in last winter's storms, getting stranded so far south of the mountains without a way back. Instead of chasing down neighborhood cats or farm animals, Leslie Stewart down Dairy Way caught him eating her raspberry bushes. Rumors were passed around at grocery stores and laundromats if this wolf was even real, or if he was some mass hallucination. The white wolf was real, and he was very hungry. Berry bushes do not make for a balanced diet, but he refused to eat red meat. How he hated that color, that smell, that sound of ripping and tearing. His old pack, they were torn apart by their food. Meat was entrance into a world built by violence and ruled by fear, and the wolf would not pass its gates. But he was so alone now. There would be no wolf who would conform to his lifestyle, and he would forever be shunned. No one stood by him, and he doubted someone ever would. The realtor jammed the keys into Cody's hands. "Congrats for, taking on all this," she said, waving her hand towards the land. It was a junkyard she turned her nose up at, one that called Lancaster home even before the town was officially named. "Sorry to ask, but I just have to know what your plans are. Parking lot? Auto repair shop? Maybe a theme park? That could bring some life to the town. It'll be a rehabilitation center for wildlife. Big one too, hopefully." The realtor looked up at Cody, her broad frame blocking out the sun. She had always thought doctor types to be quite slight in their builds, tending towards lifestyles that kept them in office chairs and fluorescent lights. This girl could probably wrestle the wildlife around here, pull them onto the exam table herself. Cody stepped onto her new property, blueprinting her future. Over here, she gestured towards a few stacks of cars rested to the ground. That'll be a big open space for the animals to rest after surgeries, get fresh air, fresh water. It's good for everyone. Glass shards underneath, she walked towards the back. "I'm planning for the actual clinic to be back here, against the wall," she continued to muse. Moving to the only structure on the property, Cody saw a real house instead of the moldy hunk of junk that made this plot so hard to sell in the first place. "And this'll be home. I'm not sure how much of this'll keep, but it's nice to have a long-term project." I should probably tell her about the black mold in there, the realtor thought. Maybe she'll find it on her own, eventually. Clearing her throat, she knew it was time to get out of there. "I'm so thrilled I could help you into your next phase of life, but I'm afraid I need to go back to the office. Meetings and signings, you know how it is." After seeing the realtor out, Cody pulled her truck into the clearing between the house, the front gate, and all the broken beer bottles that could rip her tires to shreds. It didn't take much time to unload all her belongings. The sagging couch from her college days, A brand new queen bed she had to assemble herself. A brand new queen bed she had to assemble herself. A few pre-built animal cages and 3 suitcases for clothing, medical supplies, and tools. Luckily, there was a bit more furniture that came with the house. Several chairs surrounded the dining room table on the first floor, each one without a partner. Cody rolled up the rugs left behind so they did not continue to collect mold. Cooking was never Cody's specialty, along with remembering to buy groceries before the store closes. Best she would be eating on her first night would be some veggie dogs from her cooler. Not the best, but easy to warm up on a grill. As she waited for her dinner, a siren blared out from her phone. A ringtone Cody thought was funnier when she said it initially. "What's up, old man?" she answered. "Wish I was just calling to congratulate you, but I got your first job here," Theo said from the other side. "Emergency." Dirt sprayed from Cody's tires as she whipped her truck towards the main road. "What's the location?" "The Lightner's farm down past Max Fry Shack, 12 Beacon Lane." "Wolf broke in. Chickens are fine, but the wolf got shot," he said. "Already on my way. Be there in 15 minutes. "Thanks for letting me know, Theo," Cody replied. "Hey, it's your job now." With that, he closed the call. Theo was an old soul, one Cody had known for nearly her whole life. She went to school with his daughter, Sarah, who was always dragging him along to chaperone the school functions she helped put on. She was a strong soul, the kind that Cody wished to be. No one could push Sarah down or get in her way if she set her mind to it. That was the biggest hole in Lancaster Cody could feel after her return. The place felt worse without someone like Sarah to lift its spirits. Even the dirt had gone dry. Cody's truck sped up Beacon Lane now, that small branch off the highway to the house on the hill. Red and blue from 2 police vehicles illuminated its sides, pushing out the stark white light of the full moon. Cody parked there next to them and grabbed her medical kit from under the passenger seat. Theo was there, pacing around as she pulled her dinner off the grill. "We tried to go after it, but that thing bolted up into the trees back there," he said, pointing back to the crop of spruce left behind the property. "It's bleeding good, left a trail." She swung herself over the fence and took out a heavy flashlight from her bag, its beam revealing bright crimson left in the grass. The brush gave way to a patchwork of pine needles as Cody ventured in, the trail veering right and under a falling trunk. This wolf was fast and smart, no one would deny that. As she continued, the ground became very uneven, lifting dirt and rock up and fixing them in stasis. Cody carried on, her work boots keeping her upright until the trail disappeared in the river. "Very smart," Cody muttered to herself. The wolf must have followed the river downstream, walking on the shallow bed. Any hunter would not be able to track it further. Cody was not a hunter, however. She was a helper. Pushing on, the riverbed grew steep and eventually cascaded into the mouth of a cave. The perfect place to hide away, if not for the power of Cody's high beam light. Rock became slick upon entering the cave, nothing around to help keep balance. Lowering her stance, Cody had started searching in her bag for treats. She only had small tins of cat food and a bag of dog treats for Russell Terriers, neither of which would appeal to Cody if she was a wolf. The cold wrapped around her quickly in the dark. It only seemed to take from her. Any heat her body made was no longer hers. Eventually, even the white cone from her flashlight seemed to be devoured by this cold, the wall of the back cage disappearing from sight. "I've got to turn around," Cody whispered. "Even if it's back here, I won't be able to..." A growl met her private words. She looked behind, above, around. That sound echoed off every surface. A body rose from the water, piercing eyes wrapped in matted fur. It was the wolf. She raised her hands, putting her light down. "Slow movements from here, otherwise her junkyard will go back to auction." Hey there. It's gonna be okay. Cody's words didn't seem to calm the beast. He was focused on her still uneaten meal in her hand. She moved it around, his gaze following. Of course, he's hungry. Placing it down and backing away, she wanted to see if the wolf would take it. He inched forward and smelled the meal, took a bite. He likes it. Cody slowly closed the gap between them, the wolf still eating her dinner. He's a very delicate creature. She's never seen anything like it. She placed her hand on the wolf's sides, the muscles tensing for a second before relaxing again. Cody felt his side and stomach for wounds, finding 2 in the lower stomach. It was the same bullet wound, entrance and exit. Nothing vital seemed to be injured. Cody moved her hand up, finding another wound in the ribs. It didn't bleed nearly as much as the other, and the bullet was nowhere in sight. Cody came to one outcome. The bullet is still lodged inside. She grabbed a sedative from her bag and quickly injected the wolf. He spun round, gnashing teeth at Cody. She knew he'd react to the pinprick, dodging away before he could bite her. She waited there in the damp cave for the wolf to succumb to the medicine. He slumped over next to the foil wrapper of the hot dog, letting out a long sigh. Cody swung her kit over her shoulder and gathered the beast up in her arms. Is it dead? Theo asked as Cody emerged from the forest. Not if I have anything to say about it. Can you grab a tarp for my truck bed? She replied. He did as she asked, unfolding it so she could lay the body down. Cody took a deep breath before pulling out tweezers. She opened up the sides of the wound as Theo focused his light for her. Cody could see the bullet had cracked the rib, but was not too deep for her to get it out. She kept her hands steady as she grabbed the bullet's sides. The wound had a strong flow after the bullet left the wolf's body, but she couldn't yet cover it up. Cody went back in as quickly as she could, pulling away any bits of shattered bone and sterilizing the wound. Looks like he's gonna make it, Cody said as she laid on the ground next to the wolf, red staining his bandages. Gotta leave a voicemail with the local vet. See where we go from there. She looked at the wolf's face as it quietly breathed. He's a gentle creature, only acted out when I put him to sleep. Think all your days will end up like this? Theo asked. Cody sat up, brushing dirt from her legs. They better not be. My heart wouldn't be able to take it. Theo helped her get the white wolf into the car before giving her a quick hug. It was a warmer drive back to the junkyard. Cody knew the thoughts were grim to feel happy while an injured creature lay in her car, but she was energized to feel her purpose being met. She tried so hard to get into a place where she can make a difference, where lives can be healed and saved. Cody had a restless sleep that night. She'd caged the wolf down in the front room. It wasn't a great solution, but she didn't know the state he'd wake up in. At this point, she'd prefer the cage to her mattress. It was brand new like her bed frame, and did not know the contours of her body yet. She knew it was a matter of time till this issue resolved itself, but that knowledge could not be used to support her lower back at the moment. Cody went about her morning as soon as dawn inched through her windows. Throwing on an oversized shirt, she headed down to check on the wolf before making coffee. Nothing could have prepared her for what awaited at the bottom of the stairs. She rounded the corner to find the wolf completely gone. The cage was locked, there were no footprints or open doors. He had been replaced by someone. A person who lay motionless on the floor. He had a shock of white hair, bandages wrapped around his ribs and stomach. She had trapped a werewolf. A wonderful story, don't you think? If you haven't had your fill, there's more on our Patreon right now. Thank you to everyone who came to listen, and please come back when you want to hear a nice, cozy story.